welcome back to the Art of Advocacy. I'm your host, Dr. Sheldon L. Akins, host of the Leading Equity Podcast, host of the Art of Advocacy live stream. Every Thursday, we go live 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome back to another episode. I am excited for today because, listen, this gentleman that's on the show, we've met virtually via Twitter and social media, but this is going to be my first time chopping it up with him live. So I'm really excited about this opportunity. His brother is excited as well. We just kind of pre-chatted, and I said this is about to be the stuff. So make sure that you're staying with us the entire time, because we will have some opportunities for you to ask questions if you have some questions. But as always, feel free to pop in any kind of comments, any chat that you want to have. By the way, if you enjoy the Art of Advocacy live stream, please support your boy. Subscribe, share, follow. This is how we grow the YouTube channel. We're looking forward to that. Always, I cannot forget. I almost do sometimes, but I just can't forget. This show is sponsored by Leading Equity, becoming an advocate for all students. That's right. All, not just two. Don't tell me, we don't have enough. No, we becoming advocates for all students, right? Make sure you're checking that out. And if you need a book study, I'm happy to support that as well. Feel free to reach out to me. We'll make sure that happens. All right, now I'm going to read just a little bit of the bio for Mr. Andre Daughty. I'm excited again. Andre Doughty's educational journey began after hearing, oh boy, I should have prepared for this one, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. I hope I said that correctly. Said if you observe children, they will teach you how to teach them. So, without further ado, that's right, without further ado, we're bringing him on right now. Welcome, Andre. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Hey, you nailed that name, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, man.
I got it right.
Yeah.
I gotta pre-read these things sometimes. I wasn't ready for that one. That one caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for it, but I'm glad I got it in. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great today. How about yourself?
Listen, it's actually been, I'll be honest, it's actually been a pretty good day. It's like Ice Cube style, like straight up, today's been a good day.
Facts.
Like real talk. And so this is like usually on Thursday, this is like I look forward to the live stream.
Okay.
So this is usually the highlight of my day. As well, so it just keeps getting better and better and better each time. Now, I briefly read your bio. I mean, and again, I struggled through that first sentence, but I'd love for you to share a little bit more about yourself and what you currently do.
Absolutely. Hey, my name is Andre Daughty, and this is live, and literally my light just went out. That's dope. I was a kid in class, always in trouble. Just real talk. I was a kid in class where I could do the work, right? Because there's a lot of students like that. We can do the work, but after the work is finished, there's nothing else to do. And so I was a kid in class making the beats. I was a kid in the class humming, singing, whistling. You name it, man, I was doing. As long as the pen was my snare and my hand was the bass, that was literally me. And I would get in trouble. I'd get kicked out of the class and all that good stuff. And then one day a teacher ran into me and said, "Man, you in trouble again?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "For what reason?" And I was like, "Man, I'm making beats. I'm singing, I'm whistling, I'm scatting." And he's like, "Well, we got to get you in band." And man, as soon as he put me in band, changed my life. Little did I know that I could play 8 instruments by ear just because I could hear it. And so, man, he helped me get into an HBCU. I'm forever grateful to him. His name is Mr. Reginald Irons. He was my band director. He was also my very first black male teacher.
Yeah. And
so just to see that inspiration, I'm up at Langston University in Oklahoma. You know, Langston University is Charlie Wilson Gap Band, right? Mm-hmm. Same school. And so I'm up there and I'm like, I'm going to be the next Stevie Wonder. I'm going to drop him an album. That's going to be my life. That's me. And instead I paused and I thought about, like, for real, in Oklahoma, you're really not going to be an R&B star.
You don't think so?
No,
because you don't live in Detroit?
Right. Yeah. It's not the spot. Like, like if I would have been like a country music writer
Sure.
or a session musician, that would have been on lock here because Shania Twain, because Reba, Reba, Garth Brooks, Carrie Underwood. Like here, you come to Oklahoma, there's the circles for country music. At that time, the circles for jazz music, R&B, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So in my mind, after I dropped the album, I was like, well, on the weekends, I could go to Detroit, Atlanta, Texas, Dallas, and gig and grow. But man, after teaching elementary Monday through Friday, I'm not trying to get on the road Friday night and then Saturday. It just wasn't happening.
Wasn't gonna happen. So you're an elementary teacher?
Elementary teacher, yeah. And so that was the big difference. I was gonna be a music director. I was gonna be a music teacher. I mean, that would have been great. But I thought to myself, what if I went back to elementary and inspired those students like Mr. Irons did for me in middle school? And so I remember changing my majors, like I want to be an elementary teacher. And I was one of 18 of us, and I was the only Black male. And then it wasn't until, once you get in the profession, you really see there aren't very many Black male educators, period. And then there aren't very many at the elementary level.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, all right, this is where I need to be. Nothing against, being an entertainer, those who want to be sports stars and stuff like that. Nothing against that at all. But I'm going to also model, you could be a dope educator. You can be a great community person. You can be an elementary teacher. You don't have to be the actor, the actress. There's some other ways that our students can dream. So yeah, man.
So I got to ask, do you regret at all not pursuing a music career on a professional level?
A little bit, man, just a little. But at the same time, no. So when I was 90s R&B was my jam.
Okay.
That ooh yeah,
Jodeci.
Yeah, that right there, being in the desert, or in the rain, it's raining and you outside, you scream like that was great music.
I love how you hit that note just now. The run was nice. That was on point.
I appreciate it.
You didn't warm up or anything. You just hit it hard. Yeah. Good job on that.
That's there. But in the late 2000s, it started to switch.
Yeah,
where you could kind of tell where that style of music, there weren't as many jazz chords being played in a lot of those songs. So I'm grateful that I had an album. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't get played.
So you did record a studio album.
I did.
Were you signed to anything or?
No, that was the hope and the key.
Okay.
So I'm also of faith. I'm a person who believes, Christian. So I had like this dope concept of like a love album, but with gospel ties to it. And I was shopping it around to all of the major spots. And I went to like 3 showcases and one of them really had some interest, right? So now I'm gassed up like, let's go. Here we go. Like a month later, Bishop T.D. Jakes came out with his Slow Jams Christian Love album. Wiped me out. I didn't have a chance after that because everybody was on Bishop T.D. Jakes. That is Woman Thou Art Loose. I mean, I had no chance after that. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But it was a dream that I still got to dream, and it succeeded. It was played in New York. It was played in Dallas. It was played in Atlanta. And I didn't get many sales, but I've gotten several people who said that they played it and sang it like at weddings and things like that. So man, I'll take that. That was dope. That was a good season.
All right. Yeah, you'll take it. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. Now I'll be honest. When I was in college, I used to make beats.
Okay.
I had my MPC. And
see now you're talking. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I used to have my records. I had a whole a collection of records that I just be sampling. And I had so I don't play for real. I could play the keys just enough, like kind of like by ear, just not chords for real, but at least I could do something. And so I was set up. I was a history major. And so my goal, kind of like what you were saying, is like, I'm going to sell these beats. I'm going to hustle these beats. I'm going to be the next Timberland. I'm about to be killing it.
Yeah.
But again, I sold maybe 1 or 2 beats while I was in college, and I didn't go further than that, and I just kind of ended up hanging up the DJ side of things. But that was definitely one of those kind of things back in the day. I was like, man, I really wanted to pursue a music career. So I understand. I'm not nowhere near at your level, but I definitely can understand, like, you had that dream and just things don't work out that way, you know?
Yeah. But here's the dope thing. Like I was telling a friend this the other day. The dream that I dreamt 16 to 20, my college years.
Yeah.
I dreamed that I wanted to be on tour. I dreamed that I could help people, that I could like, that my vision, my ideas, my dreams would help others. And what I'm finding out was, it did help others. Like the way my brain worked at that time, I could play Fur Elise, Beethoven, but then I could remix that with Jill Scott, You Love Me, He Loves Me, it's special. So blending worlds together. Well, I'm doing that now with education. So it's the same thing. I am on tour, but it's not tour with music. It's more of tour helping educators, teachers, workshops. I'm showing others how to blend the tradition, which may be a Fur Elise that they're familiar with, classical Beethoven, but connecting it with today's students, with today's hip hop, with today's style, today's rhythm, today's jargon. And so as much as I would have loved to been on the road and toured and played, it's evolved where the tour is still happening and where I'm still helping others.
The tour is still happening, and I like that. So let's jump into the topic, because I'm sure we can nerd out over music.
Yeah, let's go
all day. But I want to jump into it because today you've prepared 4 ways to help students take calculated risks, and I think this was really exciting for me, because we think about critical thinking, we think about sometimes our at a young age, our kids want to be safe, they want to play it safe. And so you have some strategies for us to really push our kids, if you will, a little bit further and beyond. So why do you think that that's so important?
So here's where it's important, because our students don't learn the way that we used to learn. For us, the 80s generation, the Saturday morning cartoon, it was almost spoon-fed to us, unless you had a parent or you had family community where they showed you specifically how to do things. Today's generation grew up with technology in their hands. And it changed for me the first time I saw my son and my daughter playing Minecraft. And I was like, oh, they are on another level. For us, it was Legos. You got the Lego blocks, and then you just imagine whatever it was. And if you could afford it, you can get the Lego set that told you what to build and how to build it. And then you would use it and look at the pictures and follow the directions. Minecraft was an open space. And the first time I heard my daughter talking about, Dad, we're digging for obsidian. And I was like, wait, who? You talking about the elements? Wait, hold on. And they're building worlds. They were building the street on which we live. Oh, these students are different. The first time I heard my daughter, man, here's the funny thing. My daughter was making introduction videos on YouTube. And then she was selling them to other YouTubers, because they didn't know how to make intro and outro videos.
How old was your daughter?
At that time, she was a 3rd grader.
3rd grader?
Yeah. And she was using my tablet. Hey, Dad, can I play on your tablet? Yeah. So I'm thinking she just going to play, games. Nah, man, she had downloaded a video editing software called KineMaster, the free version. And it's basically iMovie just for Android. And, man, she was making it like this. And I was like, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Make me one. Shoot.
Yeah.
Let's keep it in the family. But that's when I realized, oh, man, this is something different. Our students are thinking differently. And I mean, just let's be honest, be real now. Back in our day, we would on the black market sell candy. Others, perhaps some street pharmaceutical things. But it was that same business mind. But now you got 3rd, 4th, 5th graders selling everything from Sims mods to things on Roblox to I'll download all of my 2K 100%, 99 player, and I'll sell that to you. Man, today's students are on a different level. And that's why it is so important to show them how to take these calculated risks.
Listen, I learned about Minecraft during the pandemic, as a matter of fact. I remember I started playing it because, I'm trying to, we're all at home.
Right.
And the challenge that I have with a tablet, I'm old school. I need a joystick. I need a controller in my hand. I need some physics. I cannot rub my thumbs across a screen. I said, I can't play this way. And so we ended up getting the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, and I got Minecraft for the Switch. My son's playing on his tablet. My daughter's playing on her laptop, and we're all playing together. And that's how I learned how to play Minecraft. And like you said, for parents will ask me, is Minecraft, is that a kids game, kid friendly? Is that something that we can? I said, yeah, heck yeah. Because I played it, and guess what? They're learning about perimeters and area. I mean, there's math in there. My kids were making their school, in their worlds and all that stuff. So it's just so beneficial. And like you said, just now, this generation of kids that we're raising these days, I mean, it's a technology impacted thing. I mean, my kids call me old because I'm like, I didn't get a cell phone till I was late in college.
Facts.
I had a beeper. I had a pager.
Oh, did you? Oh man, I'm jealous of you. My mom and my dad used to say there were only two people who need pages, and they were like doctors and drug dealers. So that's the only reason my brother and I, we didn't get to have a pager. Because she's like, you not know doctor?
Yes.
You better not be. Yeah.
I think it was my dad's old pager, and he was like, I don't know, he ended up getting a new one or something. And so but I was trying to explain it to my kids, like, listen, I grew up in an era where you use a pager and you literally had to go find a phone.
Find a phone.
You got to go find a phone to make a phone call.
Yeah.
That was cell phones back. Like that was what we had during those times. So I am off topic with that. But the point that I'm trying to make is you're right. The generation that we have right now is just dealing with stuff just way different than what we were dealing with.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the first strategy. What do you have for me?
The very first one is you got to invest in their brand. Today's students, they don't think individually anymore. They think branding. Think about it for a moment. Kim Kardashian, she is a brand. LeBron James, brand. Kobe Bryant, brand. KD, brand. Rihanna, brand. Is no longer just one thing. Today's students, they are thinking brand. NIL deals, brand.
Mm-hmm.
And so today's students are exactly thinking that. So you've got to invest in that brand. And this is why it's important for us as teachers to connect why they are learning what they are learning. The famous story I always share is I remember having these students like, man, Mr. Doughty, man, we don't need to learn about no slope intercept. This is why we solve for X. I mean, they were really, really frustrated. And I was like, so y'all got backyards, right? It's like, yeah. And I said, in Oklahoma, it rains. So how many of your backyards have puddles in them and it looks like a little baby lake back there or a pond? And, they're raising their hand. And I was like, and that's why you need slope intercept. Because your backyard doesn't have enough slope. So when it rains, the rain doesn't trickle down in a way. To the construction people, they call it grading. But your backyard has to have a certain amount of grade to move the water versus it just sitting. Because if it just sits too long, it may start messing up your foundation. So you've got to push that water out. And they was like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, go back and look at it. And then that's why you solve for X. And then it blew their mind because at that time, whoever their teacher was, it didn't connect math to their real world. And so that's what today's students want to do. When they're coming to our classrooms, they got to get the A, or they want to try their best to get an A, B, and C because testing. I mean, I get it. That's the game. That's the standardized test. We know that. We get it. But a lot of students want to know, how's this going to really help me in my real world? What's this going to look like outside of the school? I remember, man, great teacher, right? And the standard was something like, teaching non-fictional text, informative text. It was something like that. And we were doing a read aloud, and one of the students raised their hand, and she was like, "Mr. Daughty, I'm upset." And I'm like, okay, we're teaching students how to feel their feelings at the time. Like, speak your truth. She's like, "Mr. Daughty, ain't none of us been out the hood. Why are we reading about orca whales?" And I paused, and I was like, because, and then I started thinking about it. The closest orca whale is San Antonio, Texas at that time.
Yeah.
SeaWorld. My students said they ain't been out the hood.
Yeah.
So why are we reading about orca whales and not reading about something that could have been more native to the area, to the land, that could have helped them? I never connected it. So the very first thing, you got to invest in that brand that they want to do. There are students who now know how to make t-shirts and banners from Canva. We know Canva as teachers. They know it to build banners. They know it to build their the backgrounds for their YouTube and their Instagram and their Snapchat. So instead of us saying, put your phone away in class, pull out your phone. Show me what you're working with. Invest in the brand. If their brand is in you ear hustling and you hear them talking about they want to be a wrestler, then start connecting with them. Well, there's a wrestling coach over here this way. Or what type of wrestler? Oh, you want to be WWE? And maybe you got to start learning how to watch a little wrestling to connect with them. Number one, man, you got to invest in that brand.
So let me ask you this question, Andre. I get it. Invest in the brand. That makes sense. Would you recommend all teachers to be on board with this, or is it certain subject matters that you would suggest when it comes to, taking that time to really look into investing in brands?
Yeah, because that's where the empathy comes in. That's where the sympathy comes in. The reason why everybody loves Shark Tank, and the reason why Shark Tank continues to get great ratings is because they make that long walk, and before they ever even speak about their brand, they give you their heartfelt story.
Yep.
Same with American Idol. Well, my dog died. And so now you're invested, and then you're hoping that they sing. The voice is the same way. America's Got Talent the same way. Britain's Got Talent. Cake Wars, all of you got to invest. And that's what the empathy comes in from. So if a teacher is actually looking over there and noticing that kid can draw, and noticing that kid has a portfolio full of great drawings, you got to invest in it. What are you doing in class and you're only giving them research papers and you're not giving them an opportunity to draw it out? Or those students love to talk, but you want them quiet in your classroom all day. You've got to invest in their brand. And you, not just the English teacher, you, the math teacher, you, the literacy teacher, you, the science teacher, you, the custodian in the hallway. Hey, how you doing today? Tell me more about the art that you're working on. We've got to invest in the brand.
I got a question.
Go for it.
Because I had a situation. I had a student a few years back, and I was director of special education.
Okay.
And I had a student with an IEP. And the challenge that we had was this student couldn't get them to do their work. They would literally draw the entire day.
Yeah.
And now keep in mind, they were awesome. Like when I say artistic, to they were going to go somewhere. And I just remember just trying to encourage her. I said, listen, you have to get your schoolwork done. You have to graduate from high school so that maybe you can go to art school, or here's some options afterward. I just could not get her to do her schoolwork, and teachers couldn't get her to do her schoolwork. But man, was she all, artistic at had some really good skill. What are your thoughts in these type of situations where we see maybe what should I have done if I could have done something different, right? To help her hone her skills as an artist, but still be able to value the schoolwork in a way so that she could graduate, so that she could further pursue maybe some sort of career. I mean, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah. Now, of course, every student is specific. So the advice that I'm about to give may or may not work for that student.
Sure.
But this goes back to that Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu quote. If you observe students, they will teach you how to teach them.
Yes.
And sometimes we observe that student, we see that that student can draw, but we never connected to what they're doing in class. I remember several times teachers were telling me to be quiet in class because this is a quiet classroom. This is a quiet classroom. And little did they know that my gift was my mouth. And now I get paid to speak. I get paid to workshop. They were shunning and quieting my gift and not explaining to me when to use it, when not to use it. They were just saying, be quiet because I said so. Not be quiet because to others you may be a distraction sometimes. And I mean, that's the same way here. Perhaps that student is, and perhaps that student is like, man, I just want to go to, I just want to do my art. Then you got to connect it. Well, the reason why we got to read is because you may one day have an art gallery, but you're going to have to read that contract to make sure that they don't rob you for your art. It may be a 70-30 split where they get 70% of the profits from your art gallery and you only get 30, but you won't know it you read unless you infer in that contract, unless you can understand the sequences. Or you may be trying to get a grant, but you're going to have to write an essay in order to get that grant to do in your hometown of your city, of your rows of that area. You're going to have to be able to read. Like, once again, it goes back to like those connections.
Yeah.
We got to connect why we are teaching and learning to their lives. Yeah.
I love that. I tried all kind of different strategies. One of the things I used to try was working with the teacher and just saying, can this student bring this, whatever the assignment is, can they draw that out?
Yeah.
Is that an option? Right. Just trying to think from a UDL perspective, like, okay, maybe rather than them doing a 15-page paper or 5-page paper, can she draw like a comic strip? Or can she, I tried to see if there's different ways that she could still continue to do her artwork, but in a format that was, showed that she learned whatever the concept was and still be able to express herself artistically. So you gave me some good advice as well. So Thank you for that.
And I mean, like I said before, every student is different. And once again, I think this is why I'm loving where education is going, where a lot of our teachers are no longer just saying, do that research report, turn it in. Back in our day, they used to give us 80 problems to do in math.
Yeah.
And now today's teachers and educators are a little smarter. They're saying, if you can show me mastery in 3, you don't have to do 900 problems. If you are using this skill and applying this strategy, we don't have to do the busy work like we used to. So I'm grateful for a lot of today's strategies and teachers now.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Number 2, what we got?
Number 2, we have to teach students how to think, not what to think.
Okay. Tell me more.
Once again, we're talking, the 4 ways to help the students do calculated risk is sometimes we want to spoon feed them. For us old school folks, sometimes fat meat is greasy, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes for you to put your hand on that hot stove and figure out that stove is hot and then pull back and you be like,
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes failures to happen. Sometimes we just got to show students how to think versus not what to think. And the reason why I go back to a time when I remember I was in elementary school and I remember my teachers were telling me so much about Christopher Columbus and how he was a hero. And now we can clearly see Christopher Columbus was not the hero that we grew up reading.
Not at all. But did you ever push back when you're in school?
Back then, no, because I didn't want to be in trouble. I was a kid with already 3 and 4 check marks. I didn't want to get to number 5, because then that means you got to call my mama. My mom's a teacher. And if my mama had to leave her school to come to my school, I was dead. So I knew how to get right up to that 3rd or 4th check mark and then shut it down. I wish I would have. But I also would have respected my teachers more if they showed me how to think. they would say, "Hey, you," because like I remember I used to say, "Wait a minute, how did Christopher Columbus find America? So, who's this Americo who's that guy?"
Right.
Like, wait, there's some inconsistencies happen. We just gonna brush over it? And I think that's the same way. We as educators can't give them our political, points of view, but we can teach them the truth, and we can show them how to research and let them grow from there. No matter what grade level, grade appropriateness at if you're in second grade, you're not going to talk about how Christopher Columbus gave all of the people in the community syphilis. Like, yeah, we're not going to say that.
Probably can't have that conversation. Yeah.
Right, that conversation is not happening. Mm-hmm. But in high school,
yeah,
you could lift that up and then give articles of research about that and say, don't just believe me. Let's go online and find some reputable websites and let's have that conversation. Because see, what happens is we all grow up, with our own biases, and sometimes we got to do that. And the only way we can do that is if we teach students how to think and not what to think. Adults too, parents too, administrators think, not what to think.
So, okay, give me an example, right? So, because I'm with you on that. I am a fan of co-teaching, for example, or maybe learning from your students. But typically, our typical format of teaching requires us to stand in front of the classroom and, share the content that we believe that they should know in the way that we believe in. And it's usually from the adult's perspective. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more. Give me an example of teaching a student how to think as opposed to what to think.
Yeah, this is where those thinking strategies really could come in place. This is where some of those protocols could also come into place. So one of I love the most is put an image on the board. So last week I had an opportunity to serve some teachers, and the image that I put on the board was from the Little Rock Nine. And the protocol of See, Think, Wonder, or the thinking routine of See, Think, Wonder, for 2 minutes, write down everything you literally see on that image. So there's a Black lady walking through a crowd, and behind her you see many non-Black screaming and yelling and the vein popping out. So they would literally write Black woman unbothered walking. I see she's got shades on walking. I see the people behind her are screaming and veins popping out. And I see spittle coming out of her mouth. Like literally, what do you see? 2 minutes. Next, think. The thinking is the inference part. What do you infer based on this picture? And have the students literally write out what they think. And then lastly, wonder, which are questions. What questions do you have about this picture? See, think, one. End of the 2 minutes of each of those, have the students turn and talk and allow them to pull from the picture, allow them to look at the perspective, allow them to connect whatever metaphors or connections that they may have. And instead of you saying, yes, okay, now what you was correct, and spoon feeding what that picture is about, perhaps have some articles for them to read so then they can grow from it and say, now let's put what we just learned back into context of this picture. What is this picture really sharing? What is this picture teaching? And so now I didn't tell them what to think. I gave them some articles to help them develop that thought on their own, teaching them how to think. Wow. Another way that I've seen teachers
that could be done for adults too. Like I'm just thinking how important that could be for professional development strategy.
Yeah. And I see it on Instagram, well, more Twitter and Facebook, where people put out an article and they say, before you read the headline, read the article first, then let's chop it up in the comments. So it's giving them a chance to read it, sit on it, reflect on it, connect it to their life, and then they have those meaningful conversations. Yeah, absolutely. See, think, wonder. Yeah.
You just taught me something. I never used that strategy, but I'm definitely going to use that in a few.
Really?
I got a training coming up, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, I want to say From Harvard. Oh, what is the name? I'm gonna pull it up real quick. See, Think, Wonder. Project Zero. There it is. It's called
Project
Project
Zero.
Zero, and they have several different thinking strategies that you can use. And I love using those because they really are simple strategies, just like this, to give students the time to critically think and then to share their thought and then to learn and then the next steps to grow.
All right. This is a good conversation. I definitely appreciate. Like I said, I'm learning from you as well. Rundown number 3 for me.
Yeah, number 3, be ready to remix your process. Because there are some students, let's just be real, there are some students who don't like you. You can't get upset because they don't like you. There are some students who prefer the other teacher. That's okay. Every student won't like you. So when they are trying to build their brand or when they're trying to take calculated risk, you can't take everything personal. Yeah. They come in with an attitude or they don't want to do the work. It may not be you. It just may be your teaching style. That's okay. Pull back. Think of a way to remix it. Think of a way to modify it, to adjust it. Think of a way to retell it. Or if, like what I used to do, I would ask my colleague, like, hey, I've taught it these 3 ways. These students still don't have it. Can you come in and teach it your way? Maybe if you say it, and it could be the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But it's coming from that other teacher, they pick it up. I'm sure you've been through that before, since you're like a consultant and a workshop host and a moderator and facilitator, where you've been at a place and like the principal and some of the other PD people have said the exact same thing. But when you say it, the light bulbs come on, the eyes get big.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just that way. We just got to be ready to remix our learning and our thinking.
So it sounds like you got to be very humble. So number 3, if I was to give it another name, be humble with your approach as an educator, because that's tough. You asking us to be okay with, it's like going to the barbershop and you got your go-to barber, and then now you know I can't cut that style. And so now you got to give that up and say, okay, but my other barber, here's the other chair. This is the place to go. And I know that that's hard for some folks to give up that, that resource, that power, if you will. So, I mean, what tips would you give in that type of situation? Because that's, to me, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I agree. But how do I deal with that? Not my ego and all that stuff.
Yeah. Learn one new thing. I think the perfect example was when COVID hit. Mm-hmm. There were so many millions of teachers who are used to teaching one way. Yep. Come to my class, be quiet, sit down. Here's my bell work. I'm going to do a whole group lesson, independent work time, turn in your work, go home. There were so many teachers who never used technology, smart boards, interactive whiteboards, iPads, none of it. They never used it. They stuck to what they knew. And then COVID shut the whole world down. Mm-hmm. And within 2 or 3 days, teachers, I'll include myself, had to learn Zoom, had to learn how to do breakout groups, had to use Microsoft Teams, had to learn Google Meet, had to learn Nearpod, had to learn Pear Deck, had to learn all of the Google Classroom, the LMSs that whatever they had at their district. There was a whole bunch of new teaching, and it took yourself to humble yourself, to pause, to reflect, and say, it's for the students. So yeah, I'm going to learn this one new thing. And that's what I encourage teachers to do here. You've been teaching that lesson or that unit or that course that way for the last 18 something years. Yeah. But is it connecting to your students today? Yeah, you're doing it because it's the best way to pass a test. But will they even care when your course is over? Once again, how are you applying it to their real world outside of school, outside of class? So you may have to remix your lessons, your unit, your units, your course, your courses.
But so what I'm hearing is don't teach this exact same thing every single school year or every semester, whatever it is. Be mindful of, you know what, my classroom demographics might shift. Technology might change. Pandemic might pop up again. Like all
Right.
these different factors that could show up in our work, and it's part of a process. Not it should be a living document. You know,
Right.
they say your CV, your resume should be a living document. So should your teaching be when it comes to your syllabus or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. Just be flexible. And we as educators are really good at that because, like I said, we'll go back to COVID. 3 days and we were down. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah. Then we rolled up them sleeves. Next thing you know, you had teachers who had never ever used technology. They were rocking technology. And now that we're back to full time in class, some of those teachers are still utilizing a lot of those technology skills that they did. You just got to be ready to remix it.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna run these down real quick. So I got number 1, invest in their brand.
Yes.
Number 2, teach them how to think and not what to think.
Correct.
Number 3 was be ready to remix your process.
Mm-hmm.
What we got for number 4?
Number 4 is real simple. Try it. Do you know how many people got this amazing idea, but they sit on it? They sit on that dream. They sit on that idea. No, try it. If you have a student who is a great artist and they say, I want to be a costume designer, try it. There are costume designers all around the neighborhood. Bring that person in. Bring those people in. Bring that group in. Zoom that person. Skype that person if you have to. FaceTime that person. Connect with them on Twitter. Hey, Twitter person. Hey, I'm a new follower. I've got a student who wants to be an artistic director. What advice do you have for them? Reach out to it. Try it. If you are saying to yourself, my students are not connecting this math to real world, connect it. Find the architects. Find the construction workers. Find the people who are using that calculus and that algebra 2 and that geometry in real life. Bring it to the school. Try it. If your students love to rap, throw it in some learning environment. Try it. It really works. Now, I'm not just saying that just to appropriate, whatever their culture is. Of course not. But once again, if you observe students, they will teach you how to teach them. So don't sit on it. Try it. If you have a student that says, yeah, I want to write a book. Do you know how easy it is to write a book now? And there are websites where afterwards, all you have to do is turn in the PDF and then they'll give you a hard copy for like $20-something.
Yeah.
Try it. Walmart, FedEx, your local Walgreens, CVS, they'll do it too. It's online now. There's nothing stopping you but you. So think about the students who come inside your class and they're like, yeah, I want to start a business. What's stopping them? Give them an opportunity to open up a booth at the football game. Give them an opportunity to open up the booth during the basketball game, during the dance. Let them run the school store and let them put the inventory in that school store. They got their ear to the street probably better than you do. What's stopping you? Nothing. Try it. And I want to just encourage like your listeners and your watchers. Y'all have dreams. You've got visions. It's never too late to start that dream. I say dream all the time just because of that. You've got some dope stuff that this world needs to see, that this world needs to experience. For whatever reason, you're scared to try it. I encourage you, homie, ma'am, sis, brother, try it.
So no excuses so you can't say, oh, well, I'm not familiar with coding, so I can't help this young student who wants to become a coder or programmer. I don't have that background. No, you're saying reach out to your community, find those folks who are capable of doing this work or supporting. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, here's the thing. People reach out to me all the time, professors, even high school teachers, things like that. They'll reach out to me and say, hey, I have this event. We're looking for speakers who are entrepreneurs. Can you give us 30, 45 minutes? Yep. Can't pay you, but can you do this? I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I will be. You tell me the date, the time, whenever it is, I will be there because just like you said, I can recognize that this teacher or whoever the person is that's reaching out to me recognizes that they have students that have a skill set that they want to help craft and hone, but maybe they don't have the knowledge or the know-how of how to get it done. However, they know people who they can reach out to that can support those students that, like you said, they can try it.
Facts.
Thank you for
Hey,
that.
so I remember this one time. I'll share this quick story. I'm at the school, right, and I'm just there to visit teacher. Good friend of
Yeah.
mine, just bringing teacher to lunch. Like, hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. Let's chat it up during this lunch, right thing. And so while I'm going there, I see a person playing a piano, like in the auditorium. Now I'm in my bag because I'm a pianist. I
Yeah,
can do that thing. So I go over there, and they were trying to play a minor chord. I'll try to make it as easy as possible. They were trying to play a minor chord, and it wasn't fitting. And you can tell that they were getting frustrated. So I just walked down there, and me being bubbly, I was like, "Yo, what's up?" Like, "Oh, you digging it? You sound good. Play it again." So now I'm looking at their fingerings and see how they're playing it, and they're playing it in a very familiar key. And I'm like, "Okay, what you are trying to do is this right here." So then I show them the chord, and then I showed them 2 other passing chords to get to the next chord. And they was like, "Wait, what?" I said, "Yeah, let me show you again." And so I literally showed them. So imagine like Tupac's "I Ain't Mad at You." Ba-da-da-da-dum, boom, boom, boom. Ba-da-da-da-dum, dum, dum. But imagine throwing some smaller chords in there. Ba-da-da-da-dum, dum, ba-da-dum, boom. Da-da-da-dum, dum, dum, da-da-da-da-dum, dum, da-da-dum, dum. So I'm showing them like, okay, here's some ways to do it. And their eyes open up. And I was like, "Yeah, write it down real quick." So we wrote down the notes and the notations, the chords. And so while I'm walking out, that person immediately did it. And so I went on, rest of my day, and I ate lunch with a friend. And then I saw that student walking by on my way out. And the student gave me the greatest gift in the world. And it was the head nod.
Yes.
That was it. Man, you couldn't tell me I wasn't no cloud nine that day, man. I was like, yes.
Yes.
All we got to do. There are so many students who are dope. They just need a little bit of help, a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of motivation. I don't know where that student is now, but I know that student is rocking it just because some stranger didn't stay in her own lane. He saw a need and helped that person win. And then afterwards just went on about the business like it was a regular day. So when I say try it, it is literally that for our educators. You've got so many dope students in your classroom who've got all these gifts and talents, and you may not know how to do it. There's somebody in your community who does. There's somebody on your Facebook group list or your group me text list, your colleagues from your college, your church members, your sorority, fraternity brothers and sisters, whatever it may be. There's no excuse. Find that person. If a person wants to be a scientist, find a scientist. If that person wants to be a chef, go find you a sous chef somewhere. Try it.
Yes, listen. I have thoroughly you got me pumped. You make me want to go
man. That's what I'm talking about.
I want to go try something. Like you got me hyped up, but it's legit real though.
Legit real.
Mm-hmm. So okay, invest in brand. Teach them how to think, not what to think.
Yep.
Be ready to remix your process. And try it. That's the 4th one. Now, I always like to ask, we got 4.
Right.
But do you have a bonus one for me?
Okay. So here's a bonus one. Celebrate them.
Celebrate them.
They may fail. Celebrate them anyway. They may try that store and their prices are so ridiculous, nobody buys their stuff. Celebrate them anyway. Celebrate them trying. Celebrate them going after the dream. I heard a comedian once say, "Man, I'd rather try this dream and fail than be 80 years old regretting that I never tried that dream." So celebrate them. Even if it's just one small victory. To us, that may be one small victory. To them, it may be huge. Celebrate them. One of the ways that I do it, man, and this is just a Doughty thing. Um, I'm going to cheer for you if I'm at an auditorium event, a concert, or a recital, or anything like that. As soon as I see you, I'm going to scream like it's the Super Bowl. I'm going to gas you up because you may be nervous on that stage. Even though you may be in the corral, you may be nervous on that stage. I am going to give it to you like you are Michael Jackson, like you are Stevie Wonder, like you are Beyonce, like you are Katy Perry, whoever it is. And my family, they be like, shh. And I'm like, no, she's going to know that I'm supporting her. My daughter's in the choir, and it's literally that. I will give a woo in a heartbeat just because I want her to know I'm out here. I'm here to celebrate you. If you hit the wrong note or not, I'm here to celebrate you. My son was in the band. Of course he was in the band because his dad was in the band. My son was in the band. He was on the drum line. The same thing. As soon as that cadence was over, I was like, let's go. Loud. I'm celebrating them. And it's the same way here. Those small victories matter. And tying this thing all the way back around, Sheldon, when I was in class and that was my snare and I was making that beat on that desk and that beat was tight, that teacher heard it. That teacher said, oh, you're really good at this. Compose a cadence, make a drum cadence. And he gave me the courage, the encouragement to make a drum cadence. And so now I'm making a drum cadence, and then next thing you know, the drum line is playing the cadence. That small celebration of like, I see you, that matters so much. Now, what I love about it is on social media, we gas each other up all the time. Let a person come in with a good outfit on, right? Like, okay, that matters. It matters to our students. It matters for us. So celebrate them. If they take that risk and they start that business, support them. Share their articles, share their posts, buy their book, listen to their podcast, whatever it is, and celebrate them. That would be my fifth.
I love how you said support them, because sometimes we will support them from afar, like you said, make noise, but you actually said buy their stuff.
Yeah.
Don't ask for no discounts.
Yeah, don't. Please don't. Please don't. And if they do give you a discount, still pay full price.
Yes.
Because that's showing them that you're there for them, not just for the hookup.
Absolutely.
Celebrate them, man.
I love this. All right. So, Andre, it has thoroughly been a very thought-provoking, very informative conversation. I appreciate you. If we have folks that want to connect with you, they want to reach you, what are the best ways?
Yeah, I'm on social media. So whatever your social media life is, I'm there. Andre Daughty. There's only two of us in the United States. One of them's in New York. I'm the other one. Andre Daughty on all the socials. If you want to see my weight loss journey, that's Instagram, along with other musings. If you just want education, that's Twitter. That's LinkedIn. I'm there. But not only am I a great motivational speaker and educator, I also love to do movie reviews. I also love to talk music. I also love art. I also love all those things. So if you want all of that package, that's on Facebook as well. So any of the spots, also TikTok. I'm learning TikTok because my daughter's like, Dad, you need to get on TikTok.
I'm trying to get on TikTok. I'm trying.
They trashed my transitions. They're like, your transitions are terrible though. I'm like, okay, so I've got some growth now. I gotta grow a little bit. But yeah, I'm on all the social medias. My wife and I have a podcast called See What Had Happened. And it's the stories and education from the good, the bad, and everything in between. So wherever you listen to your podcast, or if you want to watch it on YouTube, Andre Daughty there as well. So we're just trying to show educators like there's all these different gifts and talents, and you can use them to your advantage to help connect with your students, your parents, your communities. And that's what it's all about, man.
Yep, absolutely. And folks, I got the website scrolling down at the bottom, so feel free to check it out if you haven't already done so.
Yeah.
But look into his work. Andre's doing some some really good work. I remember I've seen some of your Facebook posts on your workouts, and I like to go to the gym, so I pay attention to those kind of things. I've seen you out there flexing with the bicep curls and bicep day, and just having all those different images of you putting that work in. So I mean, keep doing your thing. My thing was I just didn't want to be on stage huffing and puffing. I had to try to bring the energy. I get excited, and I just didn't want to be out of breath trying to talk because I got too excited.
Facts.
So it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Andre Daughty. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks. As we wrap things up, I'm excited for that conversation. That was great, man. I appreciate Andre for his time, for bringing in those 5 strategies. I initially asked him for 4, and I questioned him on the spot, asked him for a bonus when he was able to produce that. Celebrate. So let's run it down one more time. Invest in their brand. Teach them how to think, not what to think. Be ready to remix your process. Try it. Celebrate them. Those 5 right there to me is all you need to help your kids make those dreams come true. And I love how he put in, even if the dreams if it doesn't work out, we still celebrate them regardless. You try it. Don't be 20 years from now. Don't be 30 years from now. Wish you had done it. At least you tried. And I think that's really important. Folks, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Feel free to catch up with us every Thursday. The Art of Advocacy. If you have enjoyed this live stream, support your boy, right? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow the show. We're here every single week. Remember the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving. Let's continue to be a voice in leading equity.